Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another week of ESY. This is for your reading assignment for today. Hopefully, some of you did come on the Google Meet prior to watching this video. If not, then you're just going to watch the video and figure out how to do it, because I do go over the reading in Google Meet. It should be required for you all to attend, but if you can't get on, this is for you for if you want me to read it with you and to go over the lessons for today. Hope everybody also had a great 4th of July weekend. We had a 3-day weekend, which was nice. Hopefully you guys got to do a couple of things, it was fun over the weekend, like maybe barbecue, I don't know about fireworks because I'm not sure about what that's like right now going on, but, we'll see. So today you're going to be reading about James Buchanan, which is president number 15, and Abraham Lincoln, which is president number 16. Obviously, Lincoln, most of you will know a lot about because he's talked about a lot in our history classes. And we also celebrate him, George Washington, during the month of February for President's Day and whatnot. So he's very talked about. So we're going to do James Buchanan first and then Abraham Lincoln. So for James Buchanan, he was a Democrat, and he was president from 1857 to 1861. His vice president was John C. Breckinridge. He was born April 23rd, 1791 in Cove Gap, Pennsylvania. He was also a lawyer, which is a running theme with a lot of our presidents we've read so far. He never married, which is quite odd. Maybe some research can be done about why he never married or what that was about, because a lot of our presidents, if you read more about them, which we will get into, a lot of them were married and a lot of them, do have kids. So, he died June 1st, 1860 near Lancaster, Pennsylvania. In his early years, Buchanan loved to learn and working hard in his father's store. He went to Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and eventually graduated with honors. He studied law and had a very successful practice in Lancaster. So he seemed pretty well established, pretty smart for himself, go to law school and be a lawyer. And a fun fact today, did you know that Buchanan moved his head or cocked his head to the left because he was nearsighted in one eye and he was farsighted in the other? So both eyes, one eye could only see far, one eye could only see close. So it was hard for him to see most of the time, and he obviously didn't wear glasses, so he had to move his head slightly to be able to see things. In his presidency, when South Carolina seceded or separated from the Union and 6 more states followed, Buchanan wanted to keep the rest of the slave states loyal to the Union. So this is when slavery was becoming a big deal, and people were trying to end slavery in our country. So, and he also wanted to protect federal property and enforce the laws in the South. So he wanted to get the people in the South to abide by by the laws and be loyal to the Union, which was in the North. But unfortunately, he was unable to solve the problems, and he was happy to leave the presidency. So it sounds like he was not a very successful president, and he was happy to be done with it when it came time for the 4 years to be up, because he wasn't very successful at doing what he had set out to do. His goals were not met. So probably not one of the most looked after, sought out and read about presidents, because he doesn't seem like he really did too much during his presidency. And then we have our famous Abraham Lincoln, president number 16, from 1861 to 1865. He was a Republican rather than a Democrat. His vice presidents were Hannibal Hamlin from 1861 to 1865, and then Andrew Johnson in 1865. As a lot of you are aware, he was assassinated, so he only got to serve one term. And he was born February 12th, 1809, near Hodgenville, Kentucky. His occupation was also a lawyer, and he was married to Mary Todd. He died April 15th, 1865 in Washington, D.C. In his early years, Lincoln received no more than a year of schooling, but read every book he could borrow and became a master of the English language. He studied law in his spare time and passed the bar in 2 years. So, he did not really receive any formal education. It says he only received only 1 year of schooling. But he read up and did all he had to do on his own to become educated. So that's how he was able to study law and then end up passing the bar, which is the exam that you would take to become a lawyer. So he had to teach himself about everything because he didn't get a formal education in school. And fun fact, did you know that Lincoln was the tallest president? He was 6 feet 4 inches and the first to wear a beard. So no other presidents, if you've noticed since we've been reading this book, have had a beard except for him, and he was the tallest one. And in his presidency, Lincoln's election resulted in the secession or separation of the southern states from the Union and the start of the Civil War, which brought the end to slavery. His first goal had been to preserve or save the Union. It then became to restore peace. So first he wanted to preserve the Union and save it, and then he wanted to just keep the peace between all of the states. So shortly after beginning his second term, so he was elected for a second time, but shortly after he was elected in his second term, he was assassinated, as you may know, by John Wilkes Booth while attending a play at the Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. And he is considered by many as our nation's greatest president. So, as you know, very famous president. Anyway, you are going to be doing something a little bit different today. I want to try and switch things up. I don't always want to do a Google form that has like boring questions about the reading. What I want to do is I want to do questions, or some fun activities as well. So today you're going to do here I'll actually click off this and I will show you what you're doing today. You are going on, now hopefully some of you have been familiar with this. I did use this once during our summer program, during the distance learning program through March through June. I used it once. It's called Edpuzzle. Now what you have to do is you have to watch the video that I post for you. It's going to be in Google Classroom, and you are going to have to watch the video, and then all of your names are here. Here, let me see my classes. ESY. Alright, so this is your video for today. It's on Abraham Lincoln. You might recognize this as a Brain Pop video, but what somebody does is they make the video and then you can answer questions based on the video. So the video will pause at certain times. I'm not going to play it, but it will pause. See these looks like little raindrops down here at the bottom. It's going to pause at that time, and these are the times here, and it's going to ask you a question based on the video. So you have to really pay attention to the video in order to answer the questions. You have as much time as you need to answer the question, but they do come up at certain times. So you have to be prepared when they do come up to answer the question. They're all multiple choice. There is no short answer questions, so you don't have to worry about that. And then when you're done, you would just click turn in on the assignment, and that's it. You have until tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, as always, to turn in your reading, math, and your social emotional assignments that I post. So just make sure you do that, and then make sure that at the end of the day at 12:30 or 12:20, when I post the question for the day, that you answer that question, because that serves as your exit ticket. Hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys.